narcissism epidemic, or what I like to call more of a character crisis. Why would that happen? How can that happen? And is it happening? I think it is. I think it is happening, and here's why. When this first started exploding in my life, I hadn't heard anything about any of this. And I just started looking and looking and looking. The first place I found was a place called Love Fraud. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I read that. I was like, it's uncanny how predictable this all is. I wasn't so unique at all. I'm sure all of you have had that experience of just going, no way, all these things are just so odd to us, so completely, totally odd to us, are happening. They were predictable. And so that's a good thing. I mean, that makes you feel it's so validating. I lived in a small community, and it affected my entire life. It affected everything. My life was unrecognizable. I have a video of a birthday party that my ex-husband actually threw for me, a surprise party. A few years later, all those people were out of my life. Every single one. And these were lifelong friends. My grandparents had actually died, so they were in the video. They had actually died in the middle of all this, and I actually almost died in the middle of it all. Well, actually, that's what launched the end, the devaluing part, or the discarding part. But the reason that it gets to be an epidemic is because of how much damage they do, how it gets spread. Okay, so I had narcissistic parents. That affected me, that affected my brother, it affected who we chose to marry, it affected our children, it will affect our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and on down the road. And the impact I'm having has been small so far, comparatively. I haven't had the effect that they've had, because their whole thing is perceptions and how do they look to people, and that really wasn't my thing. So my thing was protecting my kids, and so I have kept to myself. And also I was just destroyed when this was over, so I was piecing it all together, and I was so confused, and I was piecing it all together. And another reason that this is the epidemic that it is I think that the discussion is completely off the track when people are talking about it being about social media and selfies, and that's not what it's about. That is not what we're talking about. It is about something much more serious. It's about a breakdown of the moral fiber of our culture. What happened to me was disturbing on so many levels, because there were so many people involved, and things happened that really didn't speak well of our culture as a whole. I mean, it was like some of the things that happened to me told me, first of all, that sexism was alive and well. A heart with going to the hospital with chest pain, not getting any attention. Like no one rushed to figure out what was wrong with me. No one, it was. They were acting like I was hysterical. I was, I didn't look like I should be having a heart attack. I was barely 30 years old and fit, and but I was. And if I'd been a man, they wouldn't have done that. But from that to what happened to me in court, with the different, the way that the things my ex-husband was able to say, who was my husband at the time, able to say about me as a mother, and the pillar in a way, the pedestal in a way that we put mothers on, I have been sort of hit by in both directions. The one direction is that no one can believe really, or no one would naturally assume, or no one ever has said to me anything to the effect that my parents don't love me, but they don't. That my mother could have been so abusive, but she was. And then on the other hand, as a mother myself, I was just expected to be so perfect, and like it was so easy for my ex-husband, my husband at the time, to get the court to turn on me, and my expectations as a mother were so much higher than his were as a father. And so he was just a liar, bold-faced liar, lying about me left and right. But he was able to make me look hysterical, and in a way I was hysterical. I was confused and desperate and scared, and and one of the reasons that I really wanted to join the discussion right now too is that I felt like I could be sort of this token person that everyone could hold up and say, my situation was bad, but it wasn't that bad. If she made it back, I know I can. Because I tell you what happened to me, and the place that I was and where I fell to, and the speed and what I lost was way beyond my worst nightmares. I mean, I passed my worst nightmares on the way down. Went, oh, there's my worst nightmares. I mean, I could never have even thought of what happened to me. It was so far beyond my frame of reference for me even to consider what happened. And that's part of what happens if you are an empathic person, or even just a normal person. Your mind doesn't think like this. You don't think in these terms. You don't think that anyone is capable of this kind of stuff. Doing this to a daughter, or to a wife, the mother of your children, a person who's trusted you with her life for 10 years, given you everything. I didn't think, maybe it didn't work out. Maybe he wants to get a divorce, but I never fathomed that he would hate me, that he just hated me. The big thing for me was that I was so driven by love. Love was the most important thing to me. All I wanted was to love and be loved. That was what I cared about. And so I had a blind spot. I couldn't accept that I was unloved by these people. So that made me very, very vulnerable. And it made me accept when they were saying, doing the blame thing, the blame thing, which they do. I said, yes, it must be me, because I was used to being the scapegoat. I was raised as a scapegoat, so I was used to that. And that was so much better than the alternative, because the alternative was, I'm not wrong. It's not all me, but they're saying it is. So they just don't love me, That was way worse. And then that means that I'm completely alone. So I go this character crisis, and what we're going to do about it, what the answer is. Well, the answer is one word, one simple thing: compassion. Compassion is the antidote to all of this, the narcissism, and everything that they have done to you, to your children. The answer is compassion, and you rising above it all, and you being an example for everyone in your community, and certainly for your kids, because it has to stop so it doesn't spread. It's up to you to keep it from spreading. So to all my fellow empaths out there, we have a big responsibility. We're all meeting here for a reason, and the reason is that it's up to us to stop the epidemic. We are the antidote. We are the antidote.